Actually, I'm doing a PhD in pharmaceutical technology at the
Wow.
University of Geneva,
Mm.
and we work on osteoarthritis, and we decide to treat osteoarthritis with a therapy that called viscosupplementation,
Mm.
and it consists to inject a viscous fluid directly in the knee to avoid bones rubbing together. So we start from this, and then we said, okay, we have a gel, we have maybe a platform, we can use the gel for different application, and then nowadays the market of aesthetic is huge. So
Yeah.
we
Of
decided
course.
to try and to go there.
And how did you kind of get into this? Like, were you always passionate about just science in general and these sort of things?
Yes, exactly. I'm passionate about science. I mean, this is my main specialty. I mean, for profession, I'm a pharmacist, and then I continue with the PhD, more studies.
Yeah, of course.
So no, I really love science. This is the main fact. But when you decide to start a company, a startup, you work on this. You have to work on different subjects. It's not just about science. You have to make a team. You have to look at finance. Of course, you know it, guys. And you develop different skills, different aspects, and make this fall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, Alex, what then makes Kylys more unique in this kind of injection space compared to some of your competitors?
So, I mean, in the field of aesthetic, let's say there is no true innovation since a long time. And here we have a completely different technology. We have something very disruptive, a new gel able to pass through this significantly thinner needle. It's something that very, very different than what we know in this field. And that makes these things cool, because in this field there is no really innovation, and we come here with our big science and with something new. So we want to give a kick in this field of aesthetic.
Wow, and that's actually amazing, and also really relates well to what we're doing right now at the moment, because as we see with finance and as we see with aesthetics, there's not a lot of innovation in these sort of fields, despite it being it's such common practice for us to learn from a book rather than through an application. Obviously, times are changing a little bit with that, but also in your field, it's probably been done like that for years and years, and now all of a sudden you guys are breaking in, which I think is fantastic. So now we have a personal question for you. What is your favorite part about working for Kylys?
My favorite part, I mean, it's everything. I of course I love to work in the lab, because we just have recently we just have our own lab, so it's something very special to buy the equipment, to manage everything, to write all the SOP or the procedure. It's something that's very cool. But what I really like, it's every day it's different. You have to manage everything, from scientific communication, from managing the team, from the science part, quality system, regulatory management, and of course the finance. So
of course.
Every day it's different, and you have to manage everything. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome.
So going off of, like, always, we know startups have all their sorts of challenges with them, but if you could give maybe one or two pieces of advice to other startups, what would it be and why?
I think I will say just one sentence is just do it. I'm not working for that. But it's not trying to make it perfect, but do it. If you have an idea, do it. Try, and I think this is my main advice. Just not think too much, not talk too much, but try and do it.
Right.
And obviously, like, I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice you could actually give to people that are entering the startup landscape, because as you see, there is always opportunities for you to take the concept and go to other people. We currently see that Fonjit is actually listening to this Twitter space right now, so they provide a great platform for us to kind of bounce off of, and all the people that have actually took the leap of just doing it.
Absolutely. And now, Alex, this is now, of course, is this your first startup, or have you been working in startup spaces before?
this is my first startup in medtech for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we create another company, but it was about e-commerce, so it's something completely different.
Right.
But in medtech, it's my first startup.
Right. So, what kind of similarities do you find from being in the current space with Kylys than your prior e-commerce? What similarities do they have? But also, then of course, I'm sure the differences are enormous.
Yes, sure, but there is some similarities.
Yeah.
About the management, about the finance, and about just do the stuff. We have to do it, and it's something that you create, so it's something special, and for both companies, it's the same.
That's awesome. Okay. And with that, because we are the Money Masters, we always have to ask something finance related. So with that, we'll ask it a little more personal. What's one piece of financial advice you wish you got, whether it be in the startup space or just when you were younger in college or university, that you wish you had received from someone?
Good question. It's true. Actually, my parents helped me a lot with all this finance stuff, the taxes and everything. So I was not so worried about it. But then when we start with Kylys, actually, I start with two professors, and they are really into science, not into finance. And I took classes, really nice classes from a Venture Lab and from InnoSwiss. I learned a lot, but I guess it was not sufficient. So I don't know if we cheat, but we hire a financial guy, Brian, with his financial background. So then it was so much easier.
Yeah.
So, but we have to take someone with, let's say, his specialty is finance. To drive Kylys in the best way.
Awesome.
So, but we are scientists. So.
Yeah, of course.
And there's actually one thing that, because I have a bunch of friends who all took the science route, and then me being one of the finance people, it was something that we always kind of agreed that we always need one another in order to innovate. But for some reason, our two paths never really overlapped, and you always need kind of the finance people and the science people. And when they merge, you get some beautiful things, as we see with Kylys.
That's what I think. I think it's because when you are the scientist, you are more focused about the product. It's your little baby, and when you are the finance, you look at it in general, and maybe you don't care about the product, but you care about the market. And we need to be together. But I think it's really it can be another advice when you make a team. Be sure you have someone in finance and someone in science. I mean, in medtech or in healthcare,
of course,
company.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Right. Okay.
All right.
With that, I believe we can end today's Twitter space. So we would just like to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us about Kylys and the amazing things that you guys are doing. And with that, I believe we will see everyone next week, where we will be talking about a very hot topic. We'll be speaking once again about inflation and how it impacts the market. And with that, I'm Dave.
This is Noah. Thank you again, Alex. Really appreciate you being on.
Thank you, guys. It was a real pleasure.
Perfect. So take care, everyone, and thank you so much for listening.
Bye, everybody.